by neutrons, which means that you can go from one isotope to another isotope without changing the chemistry, and it's an easy process. And you can, it is suitable for radiotherapy and also for imaging, radionuclide imaging. So great element. An example from clinic, which is already in the Dutch hospitals, even paid by insurance, which means that is good. Designed by our colleagues, so whole new microspheres. They are injected in hepatic artery, and just for you to know, hepatic artery, this is the blood vessel that brings blood to the liver, period. Nowhere else, just to the liver. So if you inject in this hepatic artery, they jumped, they're supposed to. Okay, so if you inject these nanoparticles, then they, because they're big, they're not nano, they're microspheres, so, and they, at a certain point they stop, because the capillaries get smaller, so they cannot pass anymore, and they, radioactive microspheres, they remain there, and they kill the tumor. Beautiful method for liver tumors, but of course limited to that. And microspheres are also very difficult to handle, because they stick to the needle and disaster. So what we propose is to make nanoparticles. Nanoparticles can circulate, they can extravasate the leaky blood vasculature, they have a very high MRI signal, and we have all the methods to produce nanoparticles of lanthanides of different sizes, depending on the method that we apply. And if we decorate properly at the surface, we can make sure that they go directly to the tumor. Of course, it's a beautiful design. What about the logistics? So here I'm missing colors again, but okay. So what we have here is this our targeting vector, this phenylboronic acid. The polyethylene glycol, I will show you later why it's needed. The fluorescent label, and then some polyarginines to make sure that this penetrates the cells. And and what we did, we activated these materials. Why I show this? This is important because normally you would use radioactive polymers to prepare nanoparticles, and then this is the process of using radioactive material during reaction. This is very, not very convenient. So what we did, we put everything on a nanoparticle, and then we activated, and it worked. We saw that we don't lose fluorescence, which means that this molecule is not damaged, which means that the others are also not damaged, and we saw here that they do accumulate with the cells. So here around the nucleus, which means that the penetration mechanism worked as well. So, and that means that for the clinics it will be very advantageous because we can produce these nanoparticles very easily. Now I saw that I have 10 minutes, so I don't know if I will be able to show you this part, but maybe just short. Because we do work with porous materials as well, and they are very interesting, very promising, because you can do them used in medicine for many good applications, like releasing these drug molecules from the pores. But we work on these microporous materials, which are beautiful ones. And yesterday, Dulce explained to you that these are also polymers, this zeolite material. So now I dare to show it to you. So this particular one is LTL nanozeolite, which has this beautiful framework that you can load with many lanthanide ions, gadoliniums in this case, and then they can do the work. So here we use the first europium, which is an optical element. So we load this europium in the big cages, then we calcine this material, which means heating up to 600 degrees. And what happens then, that this europium migrates to small cages and stays there irreversibly. And while this is happening, it loses its water molecules that are coordinated around, and it becomes fluorescent, luminescent. So then we add gadolinium to the big pores, and then because it has 6 water molecules, like I said in the beginning, that the more water molecules, the higher the signal, then we get here a very high MRI signal. Okay, so so this is for you to see how big is the signal increase due to this strategy. And of course, we wanted to put these materials further in research. And what we needed to do, I will show you this, the need of pegylate nanoparticles, which means to put polyethylene glycol on the surface of nanoparticles. And this work was done for the first time many years ago by this gentleman who passed away last year in the age of 100. But you don't see it, but here I found it fascinating. He wrote here, in the 60s I was between the grants, nothing to do basically, no money to do any research. And I became interested in these molecules, and he discovered that if you put these polymers on the surface of nanoparticles, then the immune system does not recognize them, and that it allows these nanoparticles to circulate longer and to find the tumor. It is very important piece of research that allows us to do this. So we provided our nanoparticles with this long polyethylene glycol chain to increase their circulation. And I'm just skipping because of the time. I just show you, we labeled it with radioactive zirconium to be able to visualize it in a more sensitive way. And we injected these nanoparticles in the mouse. No tumor, just to see what is happening there, and we found them all in the lungs, and then in a time they were passing out, they were passing to the liver, so we did biodistribution and we discovered that they all stayed together because the composition in the end was the same as in the beginning, so nothing was leaking, and this is a very promising probe to do imaging and therapy of cancer. So here we provided them with the folic acid, because tumors also overexpress folic acid receptors, and we labeled them also with the radioactive copper, which is therapeutic radionuclide, and we saw that we can destroy tumor cells having this system on one nanoparticle. So, in conclusion, what I showed you has been very fast and very. I apologize for that. I wanted to show you more. I showed you that we can go from fundamental understanding of the materials to real products. Of course, we do need clinicians for that to guide us, to tell us what they need so that we can make it. Because clinicians are very stubborn people. They think that they know everything. They don't need new materials. You come to them with a proposition and they say, oh, we already have this. We don't need a better one. So our goal as a chemist is to show that we can improve, we can design beautiful things, especially using nanosystems like polymers, and they play a very important role in this path. So with this, I want to acknowledge all these people that participated in this work and all these fundings that made it possible, and I want to thank you for your patience, for me, for your attention, and also for your interest, and I wish you all the best in your careers, in your studies, so that you get inspired. I hope I contributed a little bit to this process, and I will take questions. Thank you.
Vamos a agradecerle con un muy fuerte aplauso, un aplauso a la doctora. We will proceed with the questions. So, if you like to answer, if you like to question about in English, or if you like, we can translate you. Nosotros podemos traducir si ustedes quieren preguntar, no todo, pero vamos a hacer nuestro mejor esfuerzo para que también la doctora, no sé si la doctora también pueda entender un poco de español, si usted habla lento, ¿lo entiende?
Thank you. Good morning. You mentioned liver cancer, but I have a question. Is this limited to one or some types of cancer, or can this be applied to a much larger variety of cancer types?
This, what I showed you, is exactly concerns only liver cancer. Because there is no other example that the organ has its personal blood vessel. There is no such a case, and that's why, because the strategy is to inject in the blood vessel that goes to the tumor. That is only in case of liver, so that's why it's limited to liver cancer.
Thank you.
Bueno, aprovecho, Dina, la oferta de hablar bueno, de que ustedes nos traen, así que me gustaría saber, bueno, menciona algo de que los tintes químicos que se usan para las células, para teñirlas, que pueden llegar a ser un poquito tóxicas. No sé cómo se garantice que, pues bueno, que no sea realmente dañino.
But which ones? I mean, you mean imaging agents, right? So every imaging agent has its toxicity. In fact, these MRI contrast agents, which were used already for, I don't know, so many years, only now was discovered that gadolinium, we knew that these agents are dangerous for people with kidney problems. We knew that. So if you would go to the hospital, you would need MRI scan and you would have just a component kidney problem, you would not be injected with this agent. So that we knew, but the recent discoveries show that also there is some accumulation of gadolinium in the brain. So now the whole research society turns away from gadolinium going to manganese. Manganese is a better element because we have it. This is endogenous element. And it is also paramagnetic, not that effective as gadolinium. So what I mean is that checking the toxicity is very important, and many beautiful designs that we come up with as a chemist end up in the garbage because it's too toxic. That's a good point.
Entonces que sí podemos, lo que no sea reconocido por el cuerpo, pero es que los investigadores están viendo de gadolinium a magnesio, que es un elemento más amigable con el cuerpo humano.
Another question?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for your conference. And I would like to question. Currently, the medicine don't have not the same effect like before, and these nanoparticles can increase this effect in the medicine.
You mean for therapy or for imaging?
In general.
They can for imaging they can increase the effect because what one gadolinium can do, 1,000 gadolinium can do more, right? So this is what I meant by high payload of material, which nanoparticles do. They bring a lot. Or the zeolite porous material we can load with many ions, and then they can amplify the effect, of course. But another problem is that the toxicity of nanoparticles has to be considered very careful, because we can do the therapy, but what happens after a couple of years, right? When the patient is maybe retaining these nanoparticles, how harmful would this be? So these are, you can treat better, but you can harm later, maybe. So we can think of all of this in the design. Yeah.
Thanks.
Good morning. We have in this moment we have different therapy of nanotechnology. Exists cisplatin, docetaxel, nanotechnology for the cancer. But the big problem in this is the scalability of the nanotechnology for the manufacturing product. Do you think that this investigation have the possibility of the good manufacturing for traduce this investigation in manufacturing product?
This is a very good question. Yeah, this is something that we tend to forget, because when we do something nice, which gives nice signal or nice image, we don't think, okay, so then put it to the patients. Then how do you produce it? Just to give you an example, a very recent project that I mentioned that we work on breast cancer was granted exactly to develop new breast cancer therapy by nanoparticles, and there was even a company involved in this process, which was very good, of course. And then the pandemics happened, and then the war with Russia happened, which meant that we wanted to use a radioactive palladium, and it means that 99% of the world's radioactive palladium was coming from Russia. So the whole project, we published, we worked on that, we developed things, but then it is useless, because we cannot put it in a production, because it has it's not possible. But okay, this is an extreme example. Another example is what you are asking, that easier nanoparticle. How sure can you be that it can be manufactured well? And this is a difficult process, because nanoparticles in general, the disadvantage is that it's very difficult to control exactly the size, it is nanoparticle of this metal for sure, and you know approximately the size, but once you inject, it starts behaving differently, because you always have a distribution. So this manufacturing process becomes is very important, is difficult, and unfortunately in my career I never came to the point of talking with manufacturers and solving this problem, so I'm aware of this, but before you reach this point that industry wants to produce, you need to show so many things in preclinics, clinics, phase 1, phase 2. So that's why this large part of research ends up in the clinic only a very small percentage. And still we are trying.
So you think that the
stabilization in which way? Colloidal stability or biological stability? Different things.
stabilization of or make the drug release.
Colloidal stability is also a difficult point, yeah. Because you will need, it's very difficult to keep them stable on a shelf. And then so you need trained personnel that would make the suspension. That's another problem. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Bueno, gracias. Todavía tenemos tiempo para otras preguntas. Si alguien quiere preguntar.
Thank you very much. Sorry about my English. I hope that don't break your ears. Well, I have a couple of questions. The first is, I didn't understand why are you using polyethylene glycol? It's about the hydrophilic. Yes, it's about that.
Is one to help to stabilize, and another thing is that when the nano objects, like foreign objects, are injected in the body, you can compare it with the allergies. Why people have allergies? You breathe something that does not belong, and then the body reacts, sends macrophages to remove it and to put somewhere to disarm. The same mechanism. So there is something foreign floating in the blood. The immune system goes there, takes it, and puts it in the liver. Liver is our filter, right? So when you have polyethylene glycol, then it takes longer until the immune system has the signal. I have to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And what about the, sorry, I don't know a lot about nanoparticles, but I have the idea that when you inject, the nanoparticles can suffer an effect and destroy or even agglomerate. Is this correct?
Of course they can. Polyethylene glycol helps against this, so they don't agglomerate. So this is one part.
Yeah, okay, okay. And about the markers, because you use it like imagining, yeah, remember, or like a drug deliver, and you say that you want or you modify the particle to target exactly. But how can you? It's only chemical. It's only the chemical effect that your nanoparticle is going to target, or you have another effect, another.
Two effects. One effect that nanoparticle has, that it goes through the blood vessels because the blood vessels have holes. This is passive delivery, and then they stay there because of this chemical binding. So there are two effects together.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
the
the
rest.
question.
Thank you very much for
Bueno, a continuación vamos a entregar el reconocimiento a la doctora Cristina por por acompañarnos en este simposio y por su muy interesante presentación.
Sí, están prendidos. Están prendidos, pues.
Ah, pero no se vayan. Que ahora hay más.
Buenos días, chicos y gente que nos acompaña. Como ya sabrán, ahorita es tiempo de cambio de horario, es cambio de clase. Entonces vamos a comenzar un poquito después de las 11 en punto, para darles oportunidad a los chicos que vienen cambiando de clase para que lleguen, ¿sí? Por favor. Y también que pues, más gente disfrute de la plática de la doctora que viene desde Cataluña, ¿no? Entonces, chicos, también si gustan invitar a sus compañeros por WhatsApp, díganles que se vengan, que acá estamos. Tomar café, o si quieren salir a tomar café y galletas, este es el momento. Pero no se vayan, tomen café, pero